Just kind of walk me through these last 18 months, what it's been like for you from the WBC to ultimately where you just committed.
Right. So I mean, the last 18 months have probably been the most productive but most stressful last 18 months I've experienced in a good and bad way. I've learned a lot. I was like a skinny kid who couldn't really move very well and with time meeting the right people, I was able to, like with time put on velo, get my pitch mix a little better and just become a better pitcher and get stronger in the weight room, all that. And with time that correlated from being like 80, 82 when I was 16 to, being 89, 93 up to 94 at 18 and, going into my freshman season at St. Louis University. So, I mean, it was like a really cool, last 18 months that I've experienced and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So,
What was the WBC like?
oh, it was great. Went there when I was 16, was able to face, some of the top players from each country and, faced a bunch of major leaguers, ex-major leaguers, and faced some minor leaguers and was able to get some outs, top prospects. So, I mean, it was a pretty dope experience. Meeting a bunch of other people that have Pakistani heritage was probably like the coolest thing for me because it shows like there's other guys out there doing it. So.
So how has posture kind of impacted your body and your routine on a day-to-day basis?
Huge. I mean, I implement it all the time, especially like with me kind of training to go pitch, and go throw every single day. Like the biggest thing for me as a mover is having my entire body aligned. It allows me to kind of move freely, move a little stronger, and obviously that correlates to higher velo. And that's what matters to me is throwing hard, throwing strikes, and having the correct pitch mix to go out there and compete at any level. So I think it really helped me.
How would you kind of explain posture to somebody who has never been exposed to the concept of it?
I think a lot of people like assume that it's just like this whole like, it doesn't really matter, but like I mean at the end of the day, posture's everything, right? Like it like where you sit, how you sleep, all that stuff like that'll impacts the way how you're able to move. I think posture is very beneficial, especially as a pitcher, considering the amount of toll like you put on your body. And to be able to be healthy is kind of the biggest thing to be a baseball player, right? Like I mean, you can't play that unless you're healthy. So I mean, I think posture allows you to stay on the field for a long amount of time and be productive. So,
How has posture differed from other things that you've tried in the past, either to improve your mobility, your stability, or these movement profiles that we've been working on?
I mean, I think originally I think I was, huge into like this hour-long mobility routine that I would just scrap on the internet and stuff and just find different videos. But kind of with time, like I realized some of this stuff is just eyewash, like repping a bunch of 90/90s for 4 or 5 minutes isn't gonna, unlock your hips, but kind of getting in the right positions due to your body's like lacking a certain mobility or kind of where it's stuck is kind of what allows you to kind of feel that freeness and looseness that you want to feel after doing some of those movements.
So how would you describe how your body feels when you get done doing your routine?
Feels great. It feels loose. Like it doesn't take me very long anymore to kind of get ready. Like it probably like a 20 minute long routine now, cutting it down from 45 to 50 of just mobility before I would pitch because I had this super long routine. And then, after meeting you, we were able to cut it down a lot. And, I'm super thankful to kind of have that and have you implement a bunch of things for my body. And, I think it helped me a lot, especially my senior year. Probably the best season I've ever had at all levels. And a lot of it I attribute to, getting stronger, posture, mobility, and, just a bunch of those things coming together really helps you.
So when you talk about like getting into these positions in terms of your mechanics, whether it's your load or your front side block, like how have you felt those things kind of naturally change? Because you and I haven't worked on mechanics, but how have you felt that change in your body?
It's just a lot more free, like I just think like having me being able to get kind of in my back hip a little bit more is, allowed me to kind of put a little bit more, force going forward and allows, like my lead leg block to be a little stronger and, get out a couple miles an hour. And, obviously this isn't something that like you do once and it's gonna, change everything, but like you do it two, 3 times, you kind of see some stuff, you start doing it every day and like just it just skyrockets. So I mean it's really helpful.
So what are your goals going into your freshman year at SLU? Like what do you ultimately want to achieve?
Oh, I want to be on the field. I want to play. I want to be a key piece to our pitching staff, whether that's being a starter reliever and, just kind of being able to go there and compete at that high level and, have success and, stay on the field. But, the biggest thing is kind of having success on that mound, and that's what matters to me.
How do you feel like having a process or kind of a routine to fall back on is going to help your ability to achieve that goal?
I think routine is everything, right? Just kind of getting in that specific process every single day, you don't have to worry about anything, right? Like I think that's what kind of allows you to go out and compete at that level is just consistently following the right steps.
Yeah, so would you say it kind of boils down to like trusting your body? So I imagine like every pitcher you've been out there and you have no idea what you're doing in space, and then all of a sudden next time out there you're flowing and everything is going exactly the way that you want it to. So would you say that kind of like building that trust is a key important part of this?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I just think, like we said, kind of like just trusting the process, right? I think that's what everything comes down to. And, you put in the right work in the specific areas, especially like, aligning your body, your body's going to be in the best shape to go out and compete and, throw gas and stuff like that. Cause, that's, that's what, it's pretty fun. So that's what matters.
For those of you guys watching this, his kid's nickname is Velo Gremlin. He is all about trying to throw hard. All right. So when you and I first started working together back when you were a junior, what was your kind of struggle with? Were you struggling more with the mobility aspect of things, or were you struggling to stabilize yourself in these positions that you would get into?
Right. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is I've kind of always been mobile, like kind of I talked about a little bit, but like the biggest thing for me was getting in like that's like stable kind of like position whenever I'm pitching. Stability was definitely something that we hammered a lot. I felt like the stuff that me and you do isn't necessarily always like, that 90-90 mobility stuff and loosening up your hips. It's more like kind of having, your shoulders aligned with like your hips and knees, stuff like that. So just kind of the actual posture aspect of it. So I think aligning our body my body was kind of like the biggest thing we hammered and kind of getting into those right positions.
Back when we first started working together, what was your velo at, and where are you at right now?
So junior at the end of that summer, I was trying to put on velo. So I reached out to you because I saw you at our facility. I was probably like 85, 88 in game up to 89 sometimes, just super inconsistent. Um, and then, kind of with this past season, got up to 89, 92 a couple times in a pen in the off season. And then, the spring season up to 94 and, out in the MLB draft leagues up to 92 on my sinkers. So stuff like that. I mean, I just feel like it's like very, very much did help me kind of gain velo. And the biggest thing for me was, I truly became a pitcher instead of just a quote unquote thrower. I was kind of like, it aligned me for my body to throw a good changeup, a good sinker, kind of like my slider, stuff like that. I just think that kind of really helped me, get to where I am now. So.
So, what would you say to somebody who's looking at this as like maybe adding it to their routine as a new training method that's never tried anything like this? What would you kind of say to somebody looking at that?
I'd tell someone that like stop spending so much time like, like quote unquote like busting your butt in the weight room. Like, dude, get like your body aligned, move freely. I would like highly, highly recommend posture because kind of with playing, I've been able to kind of see different types of bodies and kind of see like the way how guys move and it's very evident like what type of guys spend time, on mobility, on posture, on the correct things, and guys who just go out there and just straight like beefcakes and they don't hit the right stuff and just kind of like you guys need to hammer the right things. And, obviously to throw harder, you got to move, efficiently and fast. And I mean, that's what posture allows you to do.